What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zell back with another WNBA slate breakdown. We got another 2-game slate on the dock for today. And if you guys are new here, you guys don't know what's going on, we're going over the WNBA. Yesterday, we actually had a pretty decent slate breaking down those games. The Aces and the Sparks, the Lynx and the Mercs kind of went the direction that we were calling for it to actually go, which, you know, pretty good, I say, on our part in regards to that. Really excited for the fact that, you know, we kind of nailed a lot of what was expecting to go down and happen. The biggest thing to me was the fact that the Aces and the Sparks game actually stayed close, which was good. Definitely somewhat for fantasy perspective. And then the Lynx and the Mercury went exactly how I was expecting for it to go, except for the fact really thought that that Brittany Griner would have dominated, but she didn't dominate in the game. Kind of sucks, but you know, nonetheless, still, Mercs got the win. Diana Taurasi, I did say that it was going to be between Diana Taurasi and Mariah Jefferson in regards to who's going to actually go off. They both, Jefferson, she had a subpar, decent game. Could have did more, really didn't do too much, 5 of 13 from the field. But DT, the 10 assists, the 23 points propelled her. She snapped off. If you had her in GPPs, you freaking crushed it. You did it. Brittany Griner, took her the second half for her to actually finally do something to go off. That first half was just putrid. Did not take advantage of the matchup. Didn't even see the shot attempts that she had in the first couple of games. Only 9 shots, a couple of free throws, but still really expected more from her in a matchup that she dominated, honestly. She let Shepard go off in the first half, which was kind of weird. I was scratching my head, especially for the fact that Shepard was popping off and Collier wasn't really doing too much. Diamond Miller, as we've been calling it, she's going to have that game where she's going to actually get the minutes. She's going to get the run. 26 minutes this game, 2 of 9 from the field. It's just progressions to it, and I'm still, like I said, I'm going to be early to the party before everyone else. Going to continue to be riding Diamond Miller. Going to have her in my prop plays. Going to have her in my GPP lineups and stuff like that, because I know when the time is going to come, it's going to come. Biggest head scratcher, besides the fact that Collier didn't do anything really for that entire game. Didn't do anything in regards to scoring. The all around, yeah, she had a couple of assists, steals. Steals, blocks, rebounds, but just was not the game that I was expecting from her in regards to what I expected for her to put up. Aerial Powers. We saw her go from 5 minutes, 9 minutes. Now they let her loose for 24 minutes in the game. Dropped 20 points, 4 rebounds, and a steal. If I could get a true read on what the Lynx coach is actually planning, doing, something like that, I would be happier in a sense. Granted, Powers, she might have paid off her fantasy price. I want to say she was sitting at like 7-9 or something like that. So 24. She put up about 27, 26 fantasy points if you had her on DK. So that's not bad, especially considering when you're looking at Collier, who pretty much put up close to the same thing, but barely got there. So it's too much confusion. And the fact of Powers, she comes in off the bench, she dropped 20. She took 15 shots in those 24 minutes. So it's just, I don't know. It's just some wonky. Like I said, I 110,000% believe the Lynx are tanking. They're trying to get that top pick in the upcoming draft. So kind of not too surprising in regards to that. I shouldn't be surprised. And then this game right here, I really it was some craziness, of course, leading up to the game, because then we got news that, players are sick. Changes in starting lineup. Okay, they threw Wnba into the starting lineup. That minutes cap gone. Him played 27 minutes. She looked good in the beginning of the game, but then just fell off. Went 3 of 12, 5 for 7 free throws, all that other stuff. She did it with her assists, rebound, steals. She looked really pretty good on the defensive end. But Chenny, she definitely stepped up. She showed me. I will give that to Chenny. She showed me. I think maybe if NECA was still to play, Chenny still would have had that type of game, because the defenses would have been focusing on NECA, and then Chenny, she would have been able to do her thing, go off and pop off. But A'ja Wilson, she had just a subpar mid-level game. Didn't really do too much in that first half at all. Looked like she was honestly scared of Wnba or something. I have no clue what the heck was going on right there with that. But it was just a putrid game again till that second half that really got going. But the one player that everyone always forgets about, and I said this yesterday, Jackie Young is always forgotten. She was the number 1 pick back in 2019 for a reason, and she showed it once again last night. When everyone else cannot get anything to go, Jackie Young, she does it. She is literally slashing, running around, playing hard on defense, getting into passing lanes, picking off steals. And as you've seen it, she did that. 4 steals, 1 block, 30 points, led everybody in scoring, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. That is a Jackie Young type game. That is what Jackie brings to the table. And as I was watching the game last night, the reason why I think Jackie is so successful is not only because teams really don't pay attention to her enough. It's also for the fact of she is constantly moving. She does not stand still for long. She's kind of like the Warriors in their offense, how Steph and Clay are always moving. That is exactly what Jackie Young is doing typically. She's always out there moving, cutting, screening. She is constantly just in motion. And honestly, that's why I kind of like her game. I always felt like she was an underrated player in regards to what the Aces were doing last year for their run, because Jackie, I really just felt like she had a tremendous season last season, and it showed it. She's picking up exactly where she left off, and definitely something to watch and continue. Plum didn't really have that great of a game. Chelsea Gray, she was all right. But, yeah, that is really just a quick overview of yesterday's game. We had some pretty good calls, decent calls. But going into today's game, we got the Mystics taking on the Sky. Mystics sitting at 1-2, and I know that they are not too happy with that record that they have, because they should definitely be at least 2-1. I'll say that. They should be 2-1. They should not be sitting here sitting at 1-2. And then the Sky, they're 2-0. Let's see if this game right here is going to be a true test for the Sky, and whether or not if they are for real, if they're serious. Because if they can actually come out and punch the Mystics in the mouth, keep this game tight, close, and actually pull it out in the end and win, led behind Copper, Liz Will, and Courtney Williams, then I will take the Sky more serious in regards to it. I will believe in Geodude and what he is doing out there for them with that coaching, 110%. And then, of course, we got my undefeated Wings, which is they're about to move to 2-0, going up against the lowly Storm. And I have actually an article that I'm going to reference and go over. You know how I like to do. I like to try to find some news and stuff like that. Any little tidbits that we can get going into a slate, it helps a lot, because there's not that much coverage when it comes to WNBA. That's honestly why it kind of took me a minute to get this up, because I was literally sitting here just trying to find some type of information, especially considering these teams, they had not played in a while. It's like there has to be something, some type of practice, interview, something that I could actually get. But it was a little bit hard to find that, but actually found an article that we'll read in regards to the Storm in their matchup. But looking at some injury reports, Misha Hines-Allen, she is still out. Definitely make sure you guys check starting lineups, because like last night, we had some monkey wrenches thrown out there in regards to some players being out. Same thing, Kayla McBride, she was out for the Lynx last night. That came literally probably within 10 minutes of tip. So you had people scrambling, trying to fix lineups and stuff like that. In regards to that, it was definitely something that, you know, came out of left field, was not expecting. For the Sky, they're going to be without Izzy Harris for the whole season. She just had a surgery to repair something. I think it was her knee, if I'm not mistaken. Herbert, she's still out, and Cone, she is out. For Dallas, Tierra McCowan, she's listed as game time decision. Last thing I checked, when I seen her on the Instagram post and TikTok, she was set to play. She said that she feels good, that she's good. So I expect McCowan to play. If McCowan does not play, then full ride on Howard, full ride on Satu. I'm already on Satu already as it is, but if McCowan doesn't play, we're jumping onto the bigs for Dallas. And also we'll be able to run it back with the bigs on Seattle, because I actually do think that, Izzy and Russell, they'll be able to bring a little something to the table, but we'll get to that later. DeShields, she's going to be out for a hot minute. Lopez is out. Soares is out. And then over for the Storm, Gabby Williams. She's out only because she's overseas. She's not injured or anything like that. She's just still not back. She's still over there playing for, I think, France, if I'm not mistaken. And just she didn't report for the start of the season. So I think it's up in the air whether or not if she's going to actually play in the WNBA this season, which the Storm, honestly, really do need her. Would have helped if she would have been here for this season, but it might be one of those things where it's like, nah, Gabby, stay away. Let us have a horrible season so we can get that number one pick type thing, because Gabby honestly would probably be the second leading scorer behind Jewel Lloyd if she was actually here with them. But like I said, check those starting lineups before you guys lock into anything tonight at all. But going into the article here, I'm going to link this down inside the description. I'll drop it in the comment section or down in the description for you guys to be able to go and check it out. This is coming from the Seattle Times. Going out there, reading through it, a couple of things that stuck out was the fact of, Coach was talking about, we played a rookie. They're talking about Horston, a lot of minutes. We have people come back from injuries or other teams. So we're new in a lot of areas. It's different because of who we are, we don't have, at least not yet anyways, the experience of winning together. That's one of those things that we're going to see, especially for the Storm, because they did lose key pieces. They lost Breanna Stewart. They lost Sue Bird to retirement. Gabby, she's not here. So a lot of moving things and people being thrust into different roles that they didn't have for the Storm in past seasons. And we saw that in that first game. That blowout was horrendous. But you know, until we get that, it's a little bit of an unknown and wondering how it's going to work. That's just human nature. All right, so big thing for them, like I said, they've been off for several days. Coach even said inside this article he's really glad that for the past 5 days they had 4 practices. So past 5 days they practiced 4 times before today's game going up against Dallas. All right, for this team, I like the long layoff because we need the practice. Quinn said we need more reps, chemistry building on the court. We've got to get better. We were very poor in a lot of areas, which we saw that. They were horrendous on the defensive end, especially in transition, was putrid. Got beat on the glass tremendously, and they honestly just could not generate any type of offense. All right, so we were very poor in a lot of areas with Grace. We know they're defending champs and a well-oiled machine, but to have time to lock in on film and correct our mistakes is important for this group, which hopefully we'll see that in a hopefully a competitive-ish game. I still don't expect them to win, but more competitive. All right, so where's the part that I really want to key in on? Oh, here we go. Okay, aside from Lloyd, the Storm starters combined to produce just 17 points, including 5 in the second half and 2 in the fourth quarter. Putrid. Trash. Offensively, I'm looking to be more aggressive. This is Izzy Magbagor. She's talking about how she's looking to be more aggressive. Who had 7 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals in the opener. That's, you know, decent if we're talking about her coming off the bench still. But we want more from an offensive player, especially in the starting lineup. Our team needs me to be a two-way player. One player can't win a game. We're learning how to play with each other so more people can score in multiple actions. Obviously, Jewel is a great offensive player, and getting her shots is important, but I need to be more aggressive and more of a threat on offense. That's big words from Easy. She's talking about how she wants to come out here and she wants to be more aggressive, how she wants to actually bring it, and how she wants to be able to help Jewel Lloyd, which is something that I am honestly expecting from her because, hey, you're another name that we do know. We've seen you play overseas. We've seen you actually dominate pretty decent, especially in those FIBA World Cups and stuff like that. We've seen her actually play pretty good in those. So I know that she could bring a much better game than what she brought inside of that first game, especially. But, you know, going up against defending champs, to be expected, it's a fluke. Then the same thing goes for Nurse, the only other Storm player with the exception of Lloyd that has a double-digit career scoring average. I'm just now starting to figure out where those threes are going to come from because that's going to be a big piece of my job here, which we do know. Nurse is a knockdown shooter. That was literally what she kind of made her career on when she was out there playing for the Liberty before she went over to the Mercs. And, of course, we know she's coming back from an injury. Hopefully it's going to take a little minute for her to get her rhythm, but she was a 35.3% shooter from behind the arc back in 2021. And then a lot of a lot of our offense will come from our transition game. If we can play with pace and we can be in shape to run up and down, then it will force the other teams to keep up with us. That's one of those things too. When I watched back the Dream and the Wings game, they did play with quite a bit of pace. Especially the Dream kind of tried to play in a half-court set and things like that, but the Wings were pushing the pace. That's one of those things that I really did see, and that's where Arike really got loose was in transition when she was pulling up some crazy behind threes, slashing in there, really. And then, of course, the rim running and the stuff that we were seeing from Satu, same thing for Howard, those things like that. So I will expect a little bit more of a pace in this game coming up. But if you guys want to read this full article, check it out. It was a nice little snippet into what the Storm are thinking coming into a game for tonight. I will definitely link that down in the description so you guys can check that out. But nonetheless, let's go ahead. Let's get this breakdown started. I know I have rambled on quite a bit, just filling you guys' ear with some other stuff. Before I start the breakdown, I do want to apologize for the audio yesterday. I really do apologize for that. Hopefully it is fixed and correct today. I had some issues with the port on my computer. I thought it was the mic, but it was actually the port. So again, I do apologize for that. I want to give you guys quality content. If it's not going to be the most high-tech and flashes, banners, and all that other stuff, I at least want to be able to give you guys good content in regards to your ears being able to listen to me and things of that nature. But all right, jumping into today's games, like I said, we got this the Mystics taking on the Sky. Tip is at 8, so we don't have a 7 p.m. game. And then the second game is going to be at 10. Dallas taking on Seattle. Out of the two games, I want to say I'm pretty sure that Seattle game it's going to have the higher total. It's going to be sitting at a 161, and both games are actually considered 4-point spreads. In my eyes, that's good for the WNBA. When we're getting those double-digit spreads, it's definitely just screams blowout, and then, of course, we think different game plans of, oh, this player might get run, da-da-da. Right now, I'm going to look at it as if starters are going to really play some heavy minutes. And whenever we look back, and this is definitely something I do advise anyone to do, especially with the WNBA, they have 12 players on the roster. They really kind of barely go 8 deep, depending on teams. Now, the Storm, yeah, they'll probably go 8 deep. But teams like the Wings, teams like the Sky, teams like the Mystics, they're really going to be keying in on about 7 players that are really going to get that burn and run. So those are the players that we really want to key in on whenever we're looking at those things. Just dropping nuggets from stuff that I've seen throughout the years in regards to this stuff. And definitely something to keep your eye on. All right, so straight out the gate, Enrique, top player on today's slate, especially the guard position, sitting here at 10K. In our high tier range, we got Enrique, Copper, Lloyd, Cloud. Sykes, yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll add her into this top tier range. So we got these guys sitting right here. Out of all of them, we know Enrique, she kind of has the caker matchup because she's going up against a rebuilding Storm team. We've seen what she was able to do going out there against the Dream. We just seen what literally Kelsey Plum, honestly, Chelsea, and Jackie did to the Storm in their first game. Now, we do expect them to be better, but I'm not going to expect a whopping 360 in regards to their defensive output and anything that they're going to be able to do. They still did give up quite a bit of points to behind the arc to Kelsey Plum and to Jackie Young in that game. That's also where Enrique likes to shoot from. She has not seen a shot that she does not like. The only thing that kind of worries me a little bit about Enrique is if the shot doesn't fall, then a lot of her production isn't going to be there because that is mostly where she comes from. I know that coach has already said for the Wings that they want to see Enrique set other players up, be more of a distributor as well. I think that's going to take a minute because, like I said, she's a she's a score first type of guard. She's not a playmaker. She is more of a shooting guard that you're trying to make into a point guard is how I've always viewed it and seen it. Her playmaker IQ is still not there. She's working on it, but I know she can dish the rock. I know what she can bring on defensive end. I don't hate the play at all. 10-8. She is honestly in the best spot out of everybody. Cash game consideration is definitely right there. Copper coming into this matchup going up against the Mystics. This one right here should be a much more tougher matchup for her going up against players like Syke, Cloud, Atkins. They could put all three of them pretty decent defenders, good defenders in their own right. So they should be able to actually defend Copper pretty well, considering that in her second game going up against the Phoenix Mercury, she didn't put up the same whopping numbers that she did going up against the Lynx. As we've seen, she only dropped 24.75 fantasy points, but that was also due to she was in a lot of foul trouble. If she can stay out of foul trouble, we do know she's the engine for them. She can get it going, but I see her more as a GPP type play just for that defensive, the defensive players that the Mystics do have in regards to what they can actually key in and get to her on. Granted, the Mystics, they really, to me, I think we can attack them more with the forwards versus the guards, which is how I kind of view it. And currently right now, the defensive standing, they're sitting at 4th defensively in regards to guards. Jewel Lloyd, pretty much, I kind of want to say she's just a cash game consideration because who else is going to score type thing for her as what we've already discussed. So I would just go ahead and put her into a cash pool. She's going to have to go out there, lead this team. She should lead the team in shots taken and scoring wise anyway. And she is going to honestly be the playmaker. The ball's going to be in her hand. She's kind of in that same position like Collier that we were expecting for the Lynx in regards to, hey, I am pretty much the vet on this team. I have to pretty much do it all. I know Dallas is probably going to try to figure out a way to get the ball out of Lloyd's hands, but just the usage and the upside is there. I would have to go ahead and consider her. Cloud really to me is kind of a hit or miss player, really someone I just kind of stay neutral on. We know that she just came off of a floor game, 13.25 fantasy points going up against the Sun, again at home. She's played decent in her one road game, 30.25 fantasy points. Her history going up against the Sky actually is pretty much middle of the pack in regards to what she can go out there and do. I'm really kind of feeling this is a game more for the forwards anyway from both of these teams. So Cloud really just going to be a mid play for me, if anything. GPP for sure. And then same thing for Sykes. She didn't do good in her first road game. That's one thing that I pay attention to is those home road splits. She did not do good in that first road game, but Of course, new team, building the chemistry, everything. She's looking pretty good on that rebound and distribution aspect. If you're looking at the prop play, definitely I would consider Brittany Sykes, her rebound and assist prop. If it's sitting anywhere between 9.5, 10.5, I would definitely consider taking the over on that. Just because if she's not going to get involved in the scoring aspect, we know she can definitely dish the rock and go out there and get the rebounds whenever you're having like Shakira Austin and EDD boxing out people and stuff like that. So we know she can swoop in and get that. GPP level play for me, not really someone that I'm jumping for joy running to actually get to. And then her history versus the Sky. Granted, this was last year, of course, when she was on the Sparks. So she dropped in 36 minutes, only 9 points. But again, she was able to do it on that rebounding and 6 rebounds, 4 assists. So again, 9.5 for her rebounds assists. I would take the over. 5 rebounds, 3 assists in that game. 4 rebounds, 5 assists in that game. So she's kind of hit or miss in regards to what she's going to bring to the table, especially scoring wise, stuff like that. But we know she could definitely make a living on the defensive end in regards to steals and stuff of that nature. Coming down here to the mid tier range, we have Courtney Williams, Atkins, Burton, Marbury, Gardner, and Horston. So looking at them, Courtney Williams, honestly, I will be very honest, she has surprised me in regards to what she has brought to the table for the Sky. Really, the aspect of the fact of she's playing good minutes. Now, looking at the last game, she practically played the whole game. She played 37 minutes. This might have also been due to the fact that Copper got into foul trouble, so Copper wasn't out there. She was out there, honestly, leading the team in regards to her playmaking, the rebounding, the assists. I like those numbers. Another player that I would consider for her rebounds and assists, just for the fact of she is a veteran point guard that can set up plays, and we do know she can go out there, she can get a couple of rebounds, stuff like that. That scoring output, I'm not going to expect that every night from her, not something that I look to, but the playmaking, getting in there, doing a little dirty work, especially if your bigs are boxing out. And we do know that the Sky's team right now, their mindset is everybody has to go and do it, is kind of how they're playing. Now, one thing to note is the fact that this last game, in regards to the scoring punch that she did bring, this was also without Marbury. Marbury did not play in that last game, so keep that in mind when you're looking at that. She was out for that game, was due to an ankle, but she's not on the injury report. She should be good to go for this game. If Marbury's going to get that full run that we would expect, and we do know Marbury is a three-point shooter. That is what Marbury was brought to this team to do. She's pretty much replacing Allie Quigley in regards to what she's doing. Real quick, if you guys want to look at the stats in regards to what Courtney Williams has done going up against the Mystics, like I said, that rebound and assist, 7 assists, 5 rebounds there, 6 rebounds, 4 assists right there. So definitely a prop I would consider if it's like 8.5, 9.5, something to look at. But Marbury going up against Washington, she's had one decent game when she was playing for the Wings. She dropped 16 points out there, 8 points, 10 points. Again, it's going to all depend on the minutes. If she's not on that minutes limit that she was kind of on in that first game, definitely makes for a really interesting GPP type play right there. But again, one of these 3 guards have to actually do it for the Sky. It's got to either be Copper, Williams, Marbury. One of those 3 will actually do it inside the starting line, because we already seen it in regards to the Sun going up against them twice. Bonner, she went off in that first game going up against them, and in the second game she had a mid-level subpar game, but then Heidemann, she actually stepped up in that game and actually did pretty decent. So like I said, I'm really not too keen on the Sky guards. I would look more towards the forwards, just because that is kind of where I feel like you can attack the Mystics at anyway. But yeah, Burton, she was inside the first game, 4 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds. I really feel like she is the point guard technically for the Sky. Like I said, I would expect her more to be the facilitator and things of that nature. Bringing all this along, 7-5, kind of a mid-level play right there for me. If we're expecting blowout, yeah, I could see her, Burton, getting some decent run, things of that nature, but not someone I'm jumping for joy running to. A bench player that I definitely would consider is Gardner, really, because she didn't get any blocks or steals, but she is a steal demon. She's really great on the defensive end. She only played 13 minutes going up against the Phoenix Mercury, but if she's out there and she's on, that girl's like a Tasmanian devil. Her and Copper are like 2 Tasmanian devils out there when it comes to, especially on defensive end. 10 points, 4 steals, a block, and 3 assists in that game going up against Minnesota. And then just looking at what she's done in the past going up against Washington, she's had some pretty decent subpar games, all playing at least 20 to 25 minutes. So a play that won't get you a 0 if you land on her, I actually kind of don't hate it, don't mind it. Something to consider. And then going down right below her, where'd you go, Gardner? Horston. So as we read in the article, they felt like they played Horston, some decent minutes out there. I definitely feel like they're she's still gonna get that burn. You know, rookie gotta get some burn, gotta develop your youth pretty much in a sense. Dallas, they can turn over the ball quite a bit. Those 3 steals, very encouraging, nice to see. She went 4 of 13. If we want other players to step up and Jewel Lloyd not to carry the load, then I'm gonna expect those, 10, 13 shots once again here in another spot. As I can see, she definitely is stacking up the stats in all aspects in regards to her rebounds, her assists, and points. So she's checking the boxes in every single category, which is something that I like to see in regards to players. At 6'2", another player I wouldn't hate, don't mind. She starts over Gardner. Both of them would probably play roughly about the same amount of minutes. Maybe Horston has the leash to get a little bit more minutes, just considering the team that she's playing for and the role that she is playing for them. So I wouldn't mind taking Horston. Definitely someone I can see if I landed on it in cash games. I'd take it. I wouldn't mind it at all. The Shields, like I said, she's already out. Going down to our low tier / our value plays. Down here, really, Kia Nurse, if she's going to get that shot to fall, definitely someone who I would consider and definitely look at. Dana Evans, she had a subpar game in the first game. Definitely popped much better inside the second game. Again, we got to keep in mind that Marbury did not play in the second game. On top of that, we also did not have Copper out there for the full allotment of her minutes due to foul trouble. So some of these numbers might be inflated considering, she got 13 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. But, definitely another GPP play that you can go to. Dangerfield for Dallas, not really someone that I'm on. Not really, yeah. That's a fade for me. Sammy for Seattle. If she's gonna go out there and knock down some shots, she's gonna actually get her burning minutes. Maybe she went 0-5 from the field last time, so I don't expect a dud game from her again. And honestly, for Dallas, she doesn't even start, so really not someone that I'm so like, ooh, I gotta play Sammy. She looked good overseas, but mid-level. Tolliver, if you want to play her as GPP play, go right ahead, but don't worry about it. I'm not touching that at all, not even with a 10-foot pole. Old Dusted, she's just there to get her money. That's really kind of how I feel about that with Tolliver. No disrespect, she did her thing in regards to some championship runs and stuff like that, but no, not it. And then of course, Ivana, I think I'm saying it right. Ivana, 17 minutes, dropped 7 points, a steal, a block, rebound, and assist. I'm pretty sure this was garbage time run type minutes, things of that nature. Young players, they got to find someone to get some type of production, things like that. 3,600, obviously we see she's not going to get you a 0. Honestly, probably wouldn't mind that. She's not going to get us a 0. She might be the difference between paying up for someone else, especially at the forward position, which is actually kind of loaded like it always is. But yeah, that's looking at the guards. Really, like I said, just to recap it real quick. Looking at it, Arike, Copper, can't go wrong with Arike, Lloyd type thing, Copper, GPPs if you're feeling it. Just figuring out whichever one of the Sky guards is going to go off between Copper, Williams, and Marbury. And then Cloud, not really my cup of tea. Sykes, another one that's just like mid-level, but I could definitely see her having a good game. If I had to choose between Sykes or Cloud, I'd take Sykes over Cloud, just to give you guys that. Atkins, she's going to have that big game one of these days, but really she's hit or miss. Her three-point shot has to be falling for her to actually have a good game. And then coming out here to the mid-tier, low-tier type plays, really no one stuck out truly like that inside of the mid-tier going, except for Horston, just because, she's going to get the run, going to get the burn. And then down here, we already said Ivana, someone that I would take a flyer on and wouldn't hate it if I had to find some type of value. Going over to the forward position. If you guys are enjoying the content, like I continue to say, definitely hit the subscribe button, smack the like button, lets me know that I am doing something right, that you guys are actually enjoying this content. And if you guys would actually like to see the core plays and get our player prop plays and things like that, check down the link in the description below for the Patreon. It's only $10. I promise you make that back within your first week. Really, whenever the board drops, you definitely want to be able to get on to some of these plays because stuff gets bumped left, right, up, and down, and you do not want to get those inflated lines. That's definitely something that sucks whenever you get caught in the middle of getting those inflated lines. All right, going over to the forward position. Looking at it, really at the top of it, of course, we got Elena Deladon, we got Natasha Howard, Tierra McCowan, Satu, Elizabeth Williams, Austin, and Magdagor. Yeah, I'll extend my top tier down to, I'll say Austin. Austin is where I'll cut off the top tier. So looking at it right here, EDD, of course, I think she's going to have a sour taste in her mouth, especially considering that they have lost their last 2 games, especially going up against the Sun. She has been complaining about refereeing and how the refs have been refereeing her, things of that nature. But, I mean, honestly, you got to go out there and you got to show it, actually show us a little something besides just complaining about it. So to say. So really, I kind of would expect maybe a bounce back game from her here in this spot. Looking at it, of course, she's been very productive in her past several games, playing, especially those 2 back-to-back games going up against the Sun, and then what she's done going up against the Sky. Last season, she only played 7 minutes, so we're gonna ignore this game right here. But this game right here, playing 33 minutes, she dropped 17.7 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. Now let's remember, Candace Parker was also on that team at the time. If Candace played in that game, that's something that we'd have to do a little bit deeper digging on. But the shot attempts are there. I'd like to see that 17, 18 shot attempts in back-to-back games. Looking over at the Sky, who do they have that are going to actually be able to contain and condemn with Elena Deladon? Birch, Williams. I'm not too worried about that. Definitely, I would consider EDD, of course, top play, as always, sitting up there sky high. Tierra McCowan, this is the big news right here that I really kind of be interested in regards to it, because if Tierra McCowan misses, then I would be more keen to play Howard. Regardless if Tierra McCowan misses, I'm all in on Satu. If you watch how she played in that first game, she looked amazing out there. Dropped 25 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 3 assists, 7 rebounds. She was actually out there doing it all. And the biggest thing that really was a improved thing to notice and see was that 3-point shot. She went 3 of 5 from 3, something that I know that she's been working on. She looked pretty decent playing with it overseas. And just that rest that she was actually able to get this offseason, you can see it. She looks like she has an extra giddy in her step out there. And I just love to see that from her. One of my favorite players on my team that I root for, as is, and a player that I definitely feel like comfortably I can say you can play her in cash games, play her in GPPs, but definitely would be a cash game staple, and honestly is my one lock of the day, is I love what I seen from her in that first game, and I'm going to continue to ride that because I believe that she is going to be that 1-2 punch out there with Enrique on a night in, night out basis. Elizabeth Williams, I actually don't hate the spot for her going up against Shakira Austin. Really, it's also due to the fact of that block upside that I know that she has. Going up against the Lynx, the team that plays in the paint and gets a lot of those buckets in that area, you've seen her. She was able to get 2 blocks, 3 steals in that spot. Going up against the Mercury, she really didn't have too much of success with that, considering she is going up against a bit bigger Brittany Griner. But I want to say Austin should be right around that size of her. And then EDD, she can play on the inside, but she plays more of the outside mid-range type game, so I really feel like she'll be able to contend with Austin and might be able to give her a little bit of some fits. I'm not going to say she's going to be like Brianna Jones or anything like that out there, but I think that she will have a pretty decent game, and just the block upside, steal upside that she has definitely is something that I would consider, especially for GPPs. Austin, I do like the spot for her. After back-to-back pretty good games, the 30 fantasy points is what I expect Austin to hover around for the season. The defensive end, she's looked great. Rebounding, and she's looked great. I know she's a double-double threat, a night in, night out. I do like that from her. Another player that I would definitely be considering, especially for my cash games, I don't hate it. If you're not going to play it for EDD, play Austin. She's in a safe spot. Really, really, nice, safe. We know the production that she will actually be able to bring. I would actually consider going ahead and playing Austin. Plus, the matchup is not a bad one for her. If we want to look back real quick, actually, let's see what Satu did last season going up against the Storm. So in the one game where she actually played over 28 minutes, which we know she played about 35 minutes in that first game, she was able to actually drop 35 fantasy points. So yeah, like I said, it's there for Satu, as long as she's going to get the minutes. And then if McCown is out, I'm locking that in 110%. Williams going up against Washington. Actually, she played for Washington last year, so I'm not going to actually have that. Austin, here we go. Going up against the Sky. So her minutes is the biggest thing in regards to her production of what we're going to actually get from her. When she played 23, 22, 22 minutes, looks pretty decent. 14 points, 14 points, 17 points. So another prop play right there. If they got her points sitting at like 13.5, 12.5, I consider taking the over on that. And then her rebounds, 4, 6, 5, not too bad. Not really there. A steal. Looks like she's gotten a steal and decent on the blocks upside. So honestly, Austin, definitely is a spot that I would consider. Like I said, just looking at the game logs and look what she's doing, and the fact that she's actually playing a little bit more minutes than what she played last season. Minutes equal production, so definitely would be considering that. She's playing 25, 26, 27 minutes. Those game logs, she wasn't playing that right there, so definitely would going right back to Austin. Going down to our mid-level tier, we have Magbagor, Smith, Birch, Mishan Allen is out, Russell, Izzy is out. So I'll just cut it off between McGregor, Smith, Birch. So this mid-tier range, like I said, after reading that article, I feel like Easy's going to come out and she's going to actually do a little bit more. Definitely try to be more active in the transition game, crashing the glass, things of that nature. So I would take a GPP flyer on her just because exactly what we read. I can only go off of the words of what they read until we actually see it to know if the production will be there. But we do know that she's a player that is expected to step up. And we do know she can run the floor. She definitely can run the floor. So something to keep an eye on. But yeah, Izzy, another player that I will definitely have in my GPP player pool, someone that I would actually consider playing. Sitting here looking at Elena Smith, I want to say she's gotten some pretty decent run off of the bench. Hit or miss in regards to what she's going to get. If she's going to get the minutes equal production. Once again, she gets the minutes. We know that she can actually do it. I do not hate that spot for her to actually go out there and drop, especially sitting here at 6,800. Not a bad value play if we're not going to pay up for our forwards. Definitely someone I can see putting in as a GPP type play. And then going down to Mercedes Russell. Russell thrusted into the starting lineup. She didn't play really no more than 12 minutes going up against the Mystics last season, but the season before that, whenever she's playing 20-ish plus minutes, we know that she can actually be decent out there. In a game where she scored 0 points, she had 2 blocks, 3 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Considering now she's kind of actually do a little bit of some offensive stuff, I'd say if that's the type of production that I would actually be able to get out of you in regards to knowing that you can actually fill it up in regards to the blocks and steal category, and you're going up against, a team that has pretty decent bigs and Tierra McCowan, Satu, and Howard. Something I could take. I know that she will be out there. If she's going to actually be needed, her size is going to be needed. 6,500. Don't hate the price. If you're scared about going up and paying for Easy, I could definitely see you coming down and paying for Russell. 110%. All right, coming down here into the value plays. Really, honestly, no one sticks out. Zowie, do not play that. Only way I would ever play Zowie is if she's going up against a smaller center. Liz, she's kind of about Zowie's size, Zowie's height, things of that nature. But still, Zowie is not really going to get that burn. She's an offensive weapon, not out there for defense. And honestly, she gets pulled because she gets cooked on defense. Not someone that I'm going to be going to. No, Hawkins. I can see Hawkins maybe if you land on it. We do know she's technically like the only big that they kind of have coming off the bench right now because Misha Hines is injured. So we do know she's going to be playing about that 10 to 15, 60-minute range. So definitely something that you can go ahead and consider. Still, once again, if you're landing on that 4,800 price range right there. So really, that's going to be the breakdown for me today, guys. Just looking through everything. Like I said, check out Line Star. Go through them. They have all the matchups and everything, stuff that you can go look through, players' history, things of that nature, to actually get a good, keen sense in regards to stuff, in regards to these players, their history, how they've done in these matchups. And then, like I said, I'll link this article down there. I know people like to read stuff on their own, so that article will be down inside of the description below for you guys to check that out. If you guys would like to see player props, player cores, breakdowns, and everything, all the sorts from myself or the GOAT Dion himself, check down the link in the description below for the Patreon. It's only $10, and I promise you will make that back within your first week. If you guys have enjoyed the content, please make sure you subscribe.